students' real results. Get ready to take notes because Cliff is about to show you exactly how to dominate in today's market. Without further ado, please welcome with me Cliff Gager.
Hey, yay. I'm very, very happy to be here today. I just want to give a little shout out to uh, the Boston RIA. You guys are absolutely incredible. Um, uh, I'm trying to find my mouse here. Where did it go? There we go. So basically, I'm glad to be here. Kelly, Sarah, Duncan, you guys are awesome. You guys have an amazing group here. And I'm just fantastically excited to be here today. I want to give you guys a heads up. I haven't done a Zoom conference like this for a while. And I was just saying the other day, it's like, man, I really miss being in person and having that interaction with the people. And then yesterday, I start getting bronchitis. So glad we're here on the Zoom. So I just wanted to apologize because my nose is driving me crazy. If my face is all red, I apologize. And if I cough, I will promise I will mute. So, so far so good. I've been taking all kinds of stuff, so I feel pretty good. But thanks for having me. It's an honor to be able to share my stuff with you guys, and I'm really excited to be here and very excited to share my experience with you guys. So I got to ask you, are you guys ready to dive into the good stuff? Because what I'm about to show you tonight isn't theory. It's not recycled YouTube advice or some type of generic rah-rah. This is the same real world system that I've personally used to close deals for, I don't like to say this, 34 years, because I'm only 35 years old. So no, that's not true. I've seen a little bit, a few years over that, but this is the same strategies that I use day after day. It's the same strategies that I've been teaching for the last 25 years to students that are using my strategies to either get into the game, like if you haven't closed any deals yet and you really want to get into the game, what I do is exceptionally the right thing that you're going to want to learn how to do. And if you've done deals, I'm going to give you some insights on things that you probably haven't even thought about that I've experienced in 5,000 plus transactions. So I want you to be honest with yourself. If you've tried to figure this out on your own, or you've figured out that it's not easy, it can be rather difficult at times, and you might have bought some courses or watched some. Oh, see, there we go with the stupid lights here. Hold on, I gotta move. I'm in my conference room and it has those special lights so that it's supposed to save money and green and environment. So it's all on motion sensor. So if I start going like this, it's because I got to turn the lights on. So, but you've bought courses, you've tried things, you've read books, you've watched YouTube videos, and despite all of that, you still haven't been able to get started, or you haven't been able to rack up a bunch of deals and do a bunch of transactions. I understand that. But you got to understand it's probably not you. And I say that because I've been training people and teaching people and doing real estate deals for a very long time. And it makes me crazy. I don't like to talk bad about anybody, but I see things out there where people are teaching things that I can't believe they're saying things that they shouldn't say, because I know that in certain states, if you do things the way that I hear people say things, that you could get in a lot of trouble. And I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm always in compliance. I make sure that everything that I do is legally sound. And if you don't do that, you're going to find yourself in trouble. And I don't ever want to see anybody that's associated with me have those kind of problems. So I give you the step-by-step path that actually works. If you've had those problems and you've tried and tried and tried and never been able to put that together, or you've had deals that have fallen apart because you just didn't know how to handle those types of situations, or things come up in your transactions that you just don't know what to do, that ends tonight. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do it. And I'm going to show you how I do things and how I teach things so that you can fast track your next deal or your first deal without having to do any of the guesswork. The guesswork is the thing that kills most people. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start doing, strap in, because this is going to be good. And first of all, what I'd like to do is just give you a little bit of history about me and why it matters. I've been, hold on. I've been doing this for over 30 years. Like I said, 34. I started in 1991, so we're approaching 35 years. And during that time, I started in the mortgage business, and without going into a big, long story, I struggled because I looked like I was 15 years old, even though I was in my early 20s. So the real estate agents kind of looked at me and they didn't want to do business with me because I looked like a punky kid. I still think I look like a punky kid, but the mirror's lying to me. I swear it's really lying. But the interesting thing is I had to overcome that, and I had to overcome different things, and it became a game to me. And basically, once I mastered it, it helped me bring real property deals together. I started working with investors, and it just built and built and built on top of that, until I was just making extremely insane money for my. And put it to you this way: my family said, "You've got to be doing something illegal because you're making too much money, because we know you, and you're not that smart." And that's the thing is I built a system that works. And I made it super simple so that not only could I do it, but I could also teach it. And I just want you to know that you don't have to figure this out alone. I created it so that you can do this first deal with me right by your side. And that's pretty much why I do this. I know you hear people say all the time, "Oh, I do this for the other people to help them." I really do, because there's a lot more to life than just making a bunch of money. It's really being able to look back and help people and do different things for them is really a benefit. It's like a feather in your cap kind of thing, right? So, and I enjoy it. I really get excited when people call me up and say, "I did a deal." Right. So tonight I want to share these proven methods with you that I've developed, refined, and used over the past 3 decades, and taught to many people too. They work in every single kind of market. Sarah was talking earlier about how she used to listen to or how she still does, listens to the feds and what they're doing. And I go back into the 90s where I used to watch Greenspan, and he would come out and he'd say something, and everybody would freak out and the rates would go up or the rates would go down. I learned that coming out of what they called the resolution trust scene, which was where the 80s had massive foreclosures, and I learned how to come out of that. So when I got into the business, interest rates were at 10%, and I watched them drop until they were about 7%, 6%. And I'm telling you, at 6 and 7% back then, it was just a frenzy because everybody else was paying. If you're old enough, you remember 10, 11, 12, 13, 14% interest rates. So I've worked in markets that were really good as far as buyers markets. I've worked in sellers markets, and I've always bought deals in any type of market. So I don't care what they say, and I'm going to explain to you here a little bit later exactly how that works and how you can create profits that you are looking for. So the way that I do this is I have like these 3 secrets. And over the years, I've studied the market. I've studied the investors, people like you that are new in the business, or other investors that have been doing this for a long time. And what I've done is I've culminated, if that's the word to use, or culminated. Again, I'm not a college degreed person, so I make up words sometimes, and it's okay because I can afford it. They're mine. But I've studied exactly what people do, and their questions come to me, and they ask me questions all the time. So I've had these situations where I took the top three things, and if you can overcome these three things, which I'm going to help you do tonight, you can be a profitable real estate investor. And um, you can do it even if you're broke. So I always tell people, you might be broke, but you're not poor. And there's a big difference in that. So if you don't have any money, you're not poor, you're just broke. And we can fix broke, right? So I want to hit you with something real powerful out of the gate. And I want you to be real with me. Have you ever had this? Have you ever seen this? Has this ever been something in your life that I wanted to get started, or I want to do a deal, but I don't have any money? You know, um, maybe you tried and hit a wall the minute that you needed real estate funding. I know a lot of people come to me and they say, Cliff, I found this deal. I don't have any money. What do I do? You're not alone. It's not your fault. It is something that happens to a lot of people. But what if that thinking or that belief is the thing that keeps you broke, right? If you think you can't do things because you don't have the money, you create that reality, right? What is it? Do or do not, think or think not. If you think that you can't do something, you're going to convince yourself in that thinking alone. But tonight we're going to burn that belief right to the ground. I don't want to hear I can't or I don't have because my famous learned statement that I've learned over the years is money follows a deal. Money will follow a deal. Like the deal that was presented tonight by Anthony. Um, you know, money's going to follow that deal because that sounded like a decent deal. You do your due diligence. If everything checks out, it sounds like it's going to be a good deal. So money will follow that deal. In other words, somebody will see that and say, hey, I want to do that, right? So let's burn it to the ground. I'm going to show you how to profit from using real estate with zero cash. I like this. Zero credit. What else? And not a dime from the bank. Because, well, I got to ask you, what if you didn't need 30 years of trial and error? I've done the trial and error already. What if you could borrow mine right now? Would you take it? You know, you can put in the chat there, yes, yes, I would not want to stay stuck. I would take it. I would take it, right? So I'm going to show you the secret number one, because this secret is it's going to unlock everything. And it's I kind of don't want to give the secrets away, but really when you hear this, it's going to tonight's going to change your life. This changed my life a long time ago, and I'm going to show you how to profit from real estate deals even if you're broke. All right? And I know there's people out there that can relate to this. So you're going to like this next slide. You have to get somebody to stand behind you and go like this. Come on. Boy, guess what's going to happen tomorrow? That thing's going away. So, usually when I have I wish I could show you. I got a whole conference room here, and there's usually like 50 people in the room, so everybody's moving around. There's a sensor up there. I'm gonna shoot it here in a minute. So, but don't fall for this lie. You do not have to have money to make money in real estate, and I'm going to prove it to you because I'm going to show you the very first deal that I did. In 1992 ish. And I did it with no money, and I'm not proud. At the time, I was paying my bills, like don't splash, right? And I was also not putting money in the bank. I wasn't saving. It was just living for the moment. My credit was marginal. I had just started in the mortgage business and making a bunch of money. And when you make a bunch of money in the mortgage business and you've never made a lot of money before, guess what you do? spend it. You spend it really fast. So I'm a professional spender. You can ask anybody that knows me. I can spend money. And when you can make money, you can always spend it, right? So that's what I want to teach you to do. So on my very first deal, I had marginal credit. I really didn't know what I was doing. I had worked with investors over about a year and a half, helping them get funding for their end buyers. And I started working with them on their acquisitions. And that's where I did their hard money loans. So I funded their acquisitions and then I funded their buyers on the regular mortgage side. So it was very lucrative for me. I made a lot of money. But when I realized what they were doing, I realized that they couldn't find all the deals, even though I worked out of Pinellas County, Florida, which is fairly big. I mean, I think there's maybe close to 1 million people there in the vicinity, but it was kind of small when you think about it as a real estate market. And yet they couldn't get all the deals that were out there. There was a lot of deals that were out there. So basically what I did is I went out and I found a deal. I found a deal. It was worth $120,000. And what I did was I analyzed it and without getting into a long history, I have construction background. So I know how to do construction and I knew how to factor out what the repairs were. Plus I watched Bob Vila, and you all know Bob Vila. Come on. I mean, he's a staple. Is that guy still alive? This old house. Excuse me. But I saw that it needed 20,000 in repairs. I got the property under contract for 40,000 bucks because I didn't know that they would say no. And I just made a ridiculously low offer. It was bank owned. It was a foreclosure. It was all overgrown and it needed repairs. There was a big addition on the back of the house that was cracked. The guy didn't do it right. Built a room on a slab with no footer. It looked bad. People walked in and they thought it had structural damage. I looked at it and I thought, if I just rip that off, I have a nice place to put a deck. And that's pretty much what they did. So I got it under contract for $40,000. But guess what? I didn't have the 40 grand. I had about 10 grand, but I didn't have 40 grand. But I had an investor that I knew because I helped him raise the acquisition money. I knew that he had about $65,000 in the bank that he could buy this house with. And it met all his parameters. So I wholesaled it to him for $65,000. So if you do the math real quick, you'll see that I made $24,000, right? Because the math says 65,000 minus 40,000 is 25,000. The title company charged me $1,000 to do all the paperwork. I didn't even have to do anything. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. And I knew the mortgage business side. I knew how the transactions happened, but I didn't know how to put it all together. But the title company did. And she told me, oh, it's real simple. We're going to do a back-to-back double closing, double simultaneous closing. And I was like, okay. So I showed up basically with nothing out of my pocket. I mean, literally, I didn't even put an earnest money down. Because I left that part out of the story because it's really not important, but I used his money as the earnest money. And you know, I can teach you exactly how to do that. But I did it with no money out of my pocket. They didn't ask for a credit report and they didn't say, Cliff, you don't have enough experience to know how to do this. Well, the title company knew how to do it. And I knew that the investor knew how to buy because I helped them do the acquisition funds. So I knew I could put it together with the right help and the right people. But you might ask, you know, I paid $1,000 to have them put it all together. But you might ask, why would that investor, and if you've tried to wholesale deals, you've heard the investors saying, oh, I'm not going to let you make that much money. Well, why did he let me do the deal that made me $24,000? Well, the property was worth 120, needed 20 in repairs. He had 10,000 in assorted costs. 65,000 was his acquisition cost. He made 25,000 on that deal. Now we went key to key on that house in about 45 days. If you understand what that means, from the time that he bought it and the time that I closed on it with his buyers was 45 days. It was a machine. All right. We knew what we were doing. I had pre-qualified investor funds available for him to do the acquisition. And we had buyers lined up waiting for this house to be finished, that their mortgage process was already done. All we needed to do was an inspection and an appraisal. If that all met the parameters of the guidelines for the loan, we had a buyer ready to go. All we had to do was bring the people to the house, let them see it all brand new rehab, and then say which one wants it, right? So that part was pretty easy, but he made 25 grand. That's why he did it, to let me make 24 grand, because his parameter was he wanted to make 25 grand. I'm pointing at the screen like, I'm looking at the screen. Like I'm used to pointing at the screen up behind me, right? So pardon me, I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing at the screen up here. So he did it to make $25,000. I mean, would you tell me, no, you can't make $24,000 if you want to make $25,000? No, that's how it works. So let's compare my wholesale with his flip. Do you guys see my screen?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay, well, I kind of just realized that. So let's see. Let me do this here real quick. Now it's going to get even better. I've got visuals. There we go. Now we should be able to see it. How's that? Is that better?
Yep.
All right. So there we go. So I ran through the numbers here real quick for you. He did it to make $25,000. So let's compare my wholesale deal with his flip to see how the math pans out. I want you to tell me who got a better deal. As far as risk, who had the most risk? I had 0. He had 100% of the risk. Do you guys relate to that? I didn't need any credit. He needed all the credit, right? Because he had to borrow the money, the $65,000. He had to borrow the $20,000 to do the rehab, right? How much money out of pocket? He had $95,000 to put this deal together. 65, 75, 85, 95, the 10,000 in additional costs, right? So out of his pocket, before he made a dime, he had to put up $95,000. I had to put up 0. Now the time to realize profit, I did it in less than 30 days because he was ready to go. We were ready to close. My seller that was selling the property to me was ready to close quickly. So we did it, I think it was about 20 days. But actually, on the other side of it, he's looking at, we did it in 45 days, but typical deals take about 90 days. So you have a 45 to 90 day cycle that your $95,000 is exposed, right? So then I made $24,000. So I kind of lost on that column because he made $25,000. So who got the better deal? I mean, ask yourself that. It's a serious question. I mean, you don't need money to make money. Do you guys understand that? Go ahead and put a yes in the chat box there so that I know that you can really understand this and that you're getting this. I hope you're getting this. You don't need money to make money. I didn't have the money to buy that property. What I did was I had the structure, and I didn't even, like I said, when I started it, I didn't have all the puzzle pieces. They were on the board, but they weren't put together, and I knew that they were there. And that's what I did. So I did that. I made some money. I continued to repeat this method over and over and over. I learned by trial and error, the hard way of doing flips. But over the years, I perfected it and I made it easier and easier and easier. And literally, if you just follow what I do, you can do the same thing. And I've seen people from many different walks of life. I used to do the fulfillment for a lot of the big seminar type gurus. I built their back ends up so that when they would sell their big high ticket items, I was the guy that showed up, or one of my employees would show up and teach the class. I didn't teach the gurus' methods. In fact, many of the gurus, I can say, honestly, I didn't ever know their methodologies or if they actually really did what they said they did. And of course I can't say what I know because, liable. But the many different people that I've seen over the years, I've seen people with absolutely no financial intelligence put deals together and make money. And I've seen people that are super smart engineers. Like I've done a lot of stuff in California. I've worked with rocket scientists, and they all tell me the same thing. Cliff, this is not rocket science. I wish I would have learned this a long time ago. And some of them gave me some really cool NASA T-shirts and SpaceX T-shirts. So I'm telling you that if you just follow along what I'm teaching you, you can do the same thing. It's simple. It's just not easy, if that makes any sense to you. But I make it both simple and easy. Wouldn't it be nice if you could put an extra 24 grand in your pocket in the next 30, 60, 90 days? You have to answer that. I don't ever have anybody, well, I'll just clue you in. I don't ever have anybody say, Cliff, no, I don't think 24 grand in my pocket extra in the next 36 to 90 days is going to excite me. I've never had that happen. So, but honest to God, that's how I made $24,000. I did it on the contract by delaying the deposit. Remember I told you I used his money for the deposit? Well, that's because I told him prior to closing, when he accepted to buy the property, I needed a $40,000 non-refundable deposit to keep the house on the books for him. If you followed along in the story, my contractual obligation was $40,000. So if he bailed on me in the last minute, there was, and in fact, he wired the money right over to the title company because we use the same title company. He wired the $40,000 over there that afternoon, and it was non-refundable in the contract that I wrote up with him. So if he would have bailed on it, I could have still closed on that deal with his money. But I delayed the deposit, which gave me the ability to put that deal together. And that's when I sold it to the other investor, and he paid cash. So I made $24,000 without using any of my own money. And the one thing that really, really, really makes things work is it's the exact system that I'm showing you today. So this is really exciting for me because David, I can't give you his last name because it was with one of the other gurus that I used to work with. But David lives right here in Boston, and he was a firefighter. There's another famous firefighter. I will, you guys know he has a TV show. This David helped that person move out of his apartment when he started doing real estate. And he told me, he says, I should have went with him at the same time, but he wanted to stay in the fire department. But when I met him, he was a lot of, discomfort in trying to put things together. He was overwhelmed with uncertainty of where to start, and he had little to no knowledge, but he wanted results, and that's why he took my training. He jumped into my training system, followed it exactly step by step. Even though I was working with a guru at the time, I taught my methods, like I said earlier. So he jumped in it right away. Not long after that, he sent me a notice in Facebook, and it says, hey, I got my first deal. I bought a foreclosure from a bank for $193,000, no repairs, and he wholesaled it for $285,000. He said, thank you for your help. I like this job. He kind of did it in a very calm way. I talked to him on the phone as well. And he was like, just laid back. He just made $92,000. And he was like, yeah, they wire transferred it right into my bank account. And he was very excited. And he was like this, but he was a firefighter. So I guess nothing really excites them, right? But I like that. He says, even a blind squirrel can find a nut once in a while. The really cool thing is, and everyone listening should do this for me also, is he sent me live Maine lobsters. Right? Because they're not, hold on. They're not lobsters, they're lobsters. So I can talk the lingo a little bit. My first wife was from New Bedford, Massachusetts, not too far from you guys. So, or New Bedford. So he made $92,000 on his first deal. All he did was follow the steps that I laid out for him. And then he went out there and he put his first deal together. Now, he went from stuck and uncertain. Sorry, there's like all the fire trucks are going on behind me. They must have heard that we're talking about Dave. He went from stuck and uncertain and to clear and confident and finally doing what he always knew he wanted to do. My system is simple, it's clear, and it works even if you've never done a deal before. And just like David, he has no license, no experience. He didn't even know where to start. Like most people, like, you remember your first day on your job, you didn't know what you were going to do. You might have been educated, but you still didn't have the step-by-step blueprint of what was going to happen every day. But years and years later, it's like nothing. You go to work, you don't even think about it anymore. You just go out there, put deals together like I do. I go put deals together. I put education together. It's all in my head now. I can barely walk through the door over here. But he didn't need to guess anymore. He didn't have to wing it. He followed my step-by-step system, and he got results, the same results that everybody wants, and it's really simple. Look, he followed my blueprint and made it happen, and you're more ready than you think you are. And at this moment, you've got what it takes to do this. So let's do this, right? So the second secret is, it's like, I know I said the first one is like really, really, really important. It's going to change your life. This is the same level of what the first one can change your life. If you could go out there and do a deal and make $24,000 in the next 30, 60, 90 days, it's going to change your life, right? But this is really going to change your life because I'm going to show you how you can clone and do exactly what I did and start doing deals like you are a 34-year expert pro without waiting the 34 years. Just follow my steps. There's no guesswork, just results. So I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just copied what worked, right? That's very important. A lot of people will say there's no new ideas out there. That's not true, but it's a lot easier to see something that works, copy it, and then just do it over and over and over. A good example is whether you like him or not, Mark Zuckerberg watched another company that just does videos, and people do videos. All he did was copy it, and he put it on Facebook, and it was instantly successful for him. So I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just copied what works. And when I worked in the mortgage business, I watched these two investors flip deal after deal, and they were making big profits. But I got to see behind the curtain, and I realized that this was a formula. And once I followed it, everything in my life changed. And now I'm going to hand that same formula to you, right? Do you remember the $24,000 deal? I just talked about it. I simply watched my investor clients, what they were doing, and then I did the exact same thing. And I wholesaled the deals right back to them. And they didn't care because they wanted what? The end result. They wanted the end buyer, make my $25,000 cliff so I can keep going and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. I just copied what they were doing. I found a hot deal and I sold it to one of the investors, and I made $24,000 on my first deal. Now, $24,000 for me, $92,000 for David. Now it's your turn. And all you got to do is follow these next 4 steps. These next 4 steps are going to change everything. Are you ready? Are you ready for the steps? Step 1, I want you to find an expert with decades of experience. That's me, right? I'm an expert. I can tell you that because I've done thousands and thousands of transactions. I had an event one time where we called it Stump Cliff, and we were simulcasting it over the internet, and there was about 300 people in the room, and they kept throwing questions. And I kept answering them because I didn't know I knew all the answers, but I really did. And, literally when I walked out of the room, I was amazed at my own self that I could answer all those questions. And I did not give away one gift card for getting stumped too. So I am an expert. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I can look at things in seconds where it takes others hours to figure out if it's a deal or not. And that is my claim to fame, is I'm an expert when it comes to real estate investing. Now, what I tell people to do is find that expert and get the tools that they use so that you can be a successful real estate investor as well. And step 3, right? 4 steps. Watch the videos, study, make a plan, and then clone these strategies. It's really simple. Just clone it. And then step 4 is use what you learn, go out and make offers. I'm going to say this and you're going to laugh, but you need to go out and make offers. You need to go out and make offers. You need to make offers. You need to make offers. You need to make offers. Do you get this? You need to make offers. Hundreds of thousands of people want to do real estate deals and they don't make offers. They're constantly looking for the best deal. So when you make a lot of offers, the deals are going to seek you out. They're going to find you. And when the deals find you, all you have to do is convert them into cash. Find other investors that have the money. If you don't have it, hey, if you've got the money and you make a lot of offers utilizing my strategies, the way that I do things, I know at the peak, right before COVID, we were putting somewhere around 18 to 20,000 offers nationwide in every week. I don't expect you to do that, but if you put 100 offers a week in your local area, or you clone that in the multiple areas, you can put 1,000 offers in, 1,000 offers in, 1,000 offers in, and that's how you find deals. And the next segment, I'm going to show you where we find those deals. But step 4 is make these offers. And when you put these deals together, do it again and again and again. All you have to do is clone it. It sounds easy because it is, but you don't just copy it, you scale it, because once you can do 1, you can do 10. And I found that the farther I stepped away and delegated all these things to other people to do, I could do more and more deals because I could focus like on that 10,000 foot view and see what everybody was doing. And I could look at the deals as they were being done. And I could see, oh, hey, over here, do this, over here, do that, and make sure all the things. And I learned that from having my real estate mortgage company, because I had 35 real estate loan officers that we had all their stuff on the board, and I could see on the board exactly what was coming, what needed to be done, order appraisals, all of that stuff. So I did that same thing with this, and I just put it on a board. And of course it was on a computer with a spreadsheet, but it was just like a big whiteboard, and I could look at that whiteboard and I could see everything that needed to be done. So if it wasn't getting done, I supervised all the people that were getting things done. And that's how we were doing 30, 40 deals a month. I don't ever want to do 30, 40 deals a month. If you guys want to do that, I'll applaud you. It can be done. You hear about people saying that they're doing it online. I'm living proof that it can be done. I'm 60. I'm 60. I want to go play. I want to do more playing and stuff, if you can relate to that. So you could still scale and do it at 60, but money's not my motivator anymore. So that's a whole nother seminar, right? But I just want to tell you about Leo. Leo was in the military. He came back from Afghanistan. He took my training. So he was transitioning from that experience of being in war. I mean, he was literally in war. He just told me some stories. I will tell you, the guys that don't tell you a lot of the stories, those are the guys that seen some pretty bad stuff. The guys that run their mouths, they probably were a HR clerk. But if you served in the military, I really appreciate your service. My dad was a colonel in the Air Force, and I appreciate everything that you guys did and he did. But Leo got my training, and he's a flipping machine right now. And in his own words there, he says he took my strategies. Right away, he wholesaled 10 properties and he fixed and flipped 3 houses. I believe he did that in 6 months. It could have been a year, but I think it was 6 months. And these are his own words. He said this himself, that my techniques work every time, and it helped him transition from the military. I'm telling you right now, Leo he cloned everything. I mean, it's like, I feel like he cloned me, everything, because he did the mortgage, he did the real estate office, he built a whole team, and he's just cranking it. I think he was I haven't talked to him in about a year and a half, and a year and a half ago he was doing about 100 houses in the Fresno market. I didn't even know there was that many houses. I've driven through Fresno a lot. There's 1 million people that live there. I didn't realize it was that big, because you drive past it. It's kind of like driving past New Hampshire, right? Isn't that kind of the same thing? Are there people from New Hampshire on the line here? Yeah, I can't. Possibly, yeah. So, but New Hampshire's small, right? Or am I thinking of something else? I'm thinking of Rhode Island, right? Rhode Island's small.
Rhode Island.
Yeah. So, Fresno was small, so he's really cranking it. And all those little dots are transactions that he's done with his team. And he replicated my system, almost the whole thing, and he turned it into his own success story. You see, you can do this too, and you have to agree that it's a whole lot easier when you do these things and you have the right tools and you have the expert experience behind you to do these things. So the third one is something you're going to laugh, because I really like this. Unstable market condition. Oh my God, the housing market's going to crash. Oh my God, the housing market's going to boom. Oh my God, the housing market's not doing anything. Oh, it's flat. Oh, it's not going up. It's not going down. Everybody has an excuse or a reason why they can't put deals together. Does anybody relate to that? Say yes in the chat box if you can relate to that, please. This one is the best so far. I know I said the first 2 are good, but you're going to laugh. You're going to like this one. I want you to look at that, and I want you to understand this, that the sellers are not the market. I used to say markets are local, which they are. What's happening in Boston has nothing to do with that's happening in Fresno or Orlando, Florida, or Miami or Houston, Texas. Each market is going to be different, but the sellers don't dictate the market. And I'm going to explain that to you. Hold on, the Zoom thingy's in the way here. There we go. Even though it sounds strange, it's absolutely true. Crashing markets, I kind of just went through all this. Booming markets, flat, sideways markets, everything in between. I've always put deals together. And if you're a seasoned investor and you've been doing this for 34, 35 years, you know that there's deals in every kind of market. But I got a serious question for you. Have you ever watched an episode of Jerry Springer? Go ahead and say yes if you watch. Yes, I've watched Jerry Springer. Put that in the chat box. Rest his soul. He's passed away. He used to be my favorite TV show. I mean, if you're feeling down about yourself, all you have to do is watch an episode of Jerry Springer and realize you don't really have many problems, right? I've closed deals in every single situation, and I'm going to make it real easy to understand. The Jerry Springer episodes all have something in common. They all have a problem. So they had divorce, loss of job, relocating, smaller, bigger house, addiction issues, jail. They're either going to jail or they're coming out of jail. If they're coming out of jail, they got to move because they're staying at the girl's house that the guy is coming out of jail. So, right? You've watched one of those shows, right? So they all have a problem. And I don't want you to negotiate the price. If you've ever bought a house under market, you know that there are people that will sell you a house under market value. Realtors will tell you, oh, it never happens. Just go pull public records. You're going to see that houses sell cheaper. And there's no reason other than situations. I negotiate the reasons. I don't negotiate the price. Price doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give you what I'm going to give you. Nothing changes that, right? But I have to listen to your situation. If I listen to your situation and I can solve your problem, the money doesn't matter. Would you agree with that? You'd have to agree with that. I'm going to show you how I agree with that. So it doesn't come from haggling over price. It comes from solving their problems. And that's how you can get deals that nobody else can. I don't know a lot of people that know how to do this. And I've been doing this for 35 years. Here's a real world example. I went to Hawaii and I wholesaled a deal there. I went there to teach a class. And what I did was I taught the class. I got paid to go to Hawaii. Think about that. And one of the gurus paid me. I think I don't need to tell you. I made a lot of money going there and they paid for all the trip. So I stayed an extra 7 days. So I was there for 4 days for work and an extra 7 days. After the class, one of the students came to me and says, hey, I've got this deal I think you could put together. So we did that. We went over there and the seller needed time. I'm not going to go into details, but he wanted to move back to the mainland and he had issues that he had to solve before he could move. His wife passed away. He didn't want to live there. His old Navy guy, he just wanted to go back to, I think, Wisconsin, right? Think about that for a minute. I don't want to live in Hawaii. I want to go back to Wisconsin. So obviously he had mental issues, right? Because I would have stayed in Hawaii. But I made a low offer, but my offer solved his problem. Because what I did is I said, I'll do a long closing, but I'm not going to give you, fair market value for that, but I'll give you this. I offered him $590,000. So I gave him no money down and 5 months to close. Think about that. I tied up his house because I gave him what he wanted, time. All the other things didn't matter to him. He wanted time, but he wanted assurance that he was going to sell the deal. Well, I just taught that realtor the class. He knew that I had the capabilities of doing it. He knew the guy, and he says, if Cliff says he's going to do this, he's going to do it. I walked right outside. That wall wasn't there when I bought the house. So I walked out the front door and I was standing right about where that sign is on the sidewalk there. And I called a friend of mine, and he was a local flipper. He also owned a termite company, and he also showed me how termites in Hawaii eat through concrete block to get to the wood. So think about that if you're ever thinking of moving to Hawaii. He was a flipper. He had money because, again, he was like one of the only 2 pest controls on the whole island. So he kind of had the market, right? So I offered it to him for $890. I told him it was a great deal. I offered it to him for $890. He said yes, and he sent $590,000 to the title company that day. Not bad, right? I sold my contract to him for $300,000. I did an and/or signs contract. You can't really do that much today, but I can show you how I can do it with, I use trusts now. So it's pretty much the same thing. But he bought my contract, that 590, he bought it and he gave me $300,000. I go to Hawaii, I get paid to go there. I teach a class. One of the students says, hey, I got this deal over here. I went over and looked at it. This is day 5 of my now extra week of being in Hawaii. I put this together and I got the wire transfer of the 300 the next day. That sucked, didn't it? Right? Nobody wants to do that, right? Guess what I did? I went jet skiing. I did parasailing. I did the thing where you go down inside the crater of Diamond Head. I went in Haleiwa, and I went in one of those boats where you go in the cage, right? And the sharks come up and they feed the sharks, so they come up. And then I saw the video of where the shark got in the cage, and I realized how stupid that was. And I ate sushi every night and every day for lunch. And I spent a lot of that 300 grand. Wasn't that nice though? It was a nice thing to do. The flipper did the repairs on the house, and he sold it about 8 months later for over $2 million. Right? That's how you do it. So I made 300 grand. He made a lot more, but he had a lot of liability. He had a lot of risk. He had a lot of exposure. And what if the market would have crashed? We all know the market doesn't crash that fast, but it could have crashed and he could have made less profits. Mine was guaranteed right there on the first day. And I had fun with it. I really made a different, I upgraded the hotel, by the way, too. So if you want to do deals like these, you got to answer yourself. You know, I think the best answer for you is, why isn't it going here? Why did it go? Uh-oh. My slide didn't go. Well,
I can read, because this is the moment where everything shifts.
yeah, it's supposed to have a big yes come down, and it's not coming down. Oh, well, you guys, you want to do deals like these? I mean, am I just singing to the choir here? Do you guys want to do deals like these? Give me a yes in the chat box. I want to see if that's something that you would be interested in doing. This is the moment where everything shifts, right? Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
But at first, I want to ask you a question, because this is funny. I like to have fun. I don't know if you noticed that yet. Anybody else feel like this? Because I know most new investors, when they start looking at this and they try to figure out wholesaling out on their own, there's so many things to think about that you haven't even thought about yet, right? You're going to run across things that, oh my God, I didn't even know that was a thing that I had to worry about. You know, like if you buy a house in Ohio, you're going to hold it as a rental property. I do that. You have to have an LLC in Ohio, right? But you don't have to have an LLC that is from Ohio. You just have to register your Wyoming LLC in Ohio. But they don't tell you that until after you're already engaged and you're putting all this stuff together. That's one of the benefits about having me in your corner is I can give you that front end information before it becomes, oh my God, you can't close until you do this. And then you're scrambling around trying to figure out how to do things. So I see where people get confused. They watch a lot of these videos I watch the videos on YouTube just like most everybody else. I've never bought any of the courses of the people that I've seen teaching up on stage. Before COVID, I was very active in traveling and teaching on stage. So I've seen a lot of the people that you might have seen. Some of their courses are smart, some of them are not. Some of them are based on the fact that you have to have some experience in order to understand what they're talking about, or you get lost. And I can tell you, as someone that has gone to thousands of homes where I sat down with people for these gurus over a 20-year period, where when I got there, all the books and tapes and stuff, and you know, I go back a long time, they used to sell DVDs, right? And you would get the learning and the education on the DVDs or cassettes, and you would have to listen to them at home on books and PDFs. And every time I got to the people's house, none of that stuff was open. It was still wrapped in the plastic shrink wrap because they didn't know where to start. And they got stuck because they were unsure. And they're like, what am I doing wrong? You know, well, if you've ever felt like this and you feel confused, overwhelmed, or wondering why hasn't it worked, I want to make it real simple. The reason isn't you. It's the system that you've been following, or more likely, the lack of one. So I want to introduce you to what has actually worked for me and what's actually working for my students, what I've used to close deal after deal, and what I've taught my students to make serious money in real estate, even if they were starting at ground zero. And that is my wholesaling properties for quick cash system. If you're ready to stop guessing and start doing, this is where it begins. Now, Here's the most important part is you're going to hire the electrician to come over here and fix this stupid light. Can you guys still see me in the screen too?
We can
Okay,
see
good.
you and screen.
It looks like I go into FBI informant mode and everything goes black. So it was when they try to hide their voice or whatever. So here's the important thing that you get. It's the foundation of everything that I teach. It's my full online video training. It's wholesaling properties for quick cash. It is the exact same system that I've used for decades. I've honed it to be dumb proof. I mean, anybody can use this. I'm not saying you're dumb, but if you are, you can still watch these videos and understand them. I've really put it at a level so that people without a higher education, with no experience in real estate whatsoever, can watch it, learn it, absorb it, and implement it. Because if you can't do that, there's no use in having it, right? I want you to be confident. I want you to be cashing checks. I don't want you to be confused. So I made it really easy to understand. In this video training, I show you exactly how to find deals in any market. Remember the Jerry Springer thinking. If you find problems and issues, there's ways we go into I use the MLS mostly. I like the MLS because it's at my fingertips, right? I don't have to do a lot of stuff. Plus, I can hire someone like Sarah. Sarah, I'll just teach you all my parameters. You can plug in my contractual once into a contract, make it a template with your MLS system. So when you do a search and you pull up a list of properties meeting my parameters, you can then export them right into the contracts with the templates, and it auto-populates everything. When I teach my real estate agents how to do that, they tell me there's no way that I can put offers in for you, 100 offers a week. There's no way. But when I show them how to do it, they can put 10 offers a day just like that. And they can set up their searches in the MLS so they're not regurgitating the same things that come up, and they find new things every week. And I do what they call a tickler file, where we go and revisit the offers that we put in 30, 60, 90 days ago to see if they've gone through. If they haven't, they fall out of escrow for one reason or another. I teach you how to do all of that stuff. So whether it's a booming market, crashing market, follow up is the key to anything in sales. If you talk to any massively successful salespeople, they tell you you're not going to get it in the first appointment. You're probably not going to get it in the second one, but it usually comes around in the seventh, right? So if you're constantly hitting the market, and you're hitting it over and over, and you're not just one and done, that's I teach you how to do that and do it automated so that you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Because I like to jet ski, and I can't go jet skiing if I'm putting in offers unless I have a crew that's doing it for me. Does anybody like that idea? That sound good to you? So these are the same strategies that I use for myself today. I buy houses in Cleveland, Ohio. I fix them up and I sell them to suckers. I mean, I got to stop saying that. I sell them to people in California that have very large retirement accounts, that I have a person that lives in California that helps them put their money into self-directed accounts, retirement accounts, and we transfer their 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% return investment vehicles into 20% ROI vehicles of Section 8 housing and houses in Ohio that I buy, fix, and sell, and put tenants in them. That's what I do. I've seen 5 of the probably, I don't know, several hundred houses that I've been involved with, either as a principal or working with deals to where I've made money on them. I've made money with students on deals where they say, hey, well, I'll partner with you. You just help me get it done, and we'll split the profits or whatever. And then I end up doing everything, but it's okay because I know what to do. I delegate, and I teach you how to delegate. But I've been to Ohio once, and I was really cool because I was a mentor in this business, and there's actually a Mentor Ohio, and I got to take my picture in front of the sign that said mentor. I'm fascinated and amused very easily. So Again, you don't even have to be there. You don't even have to set foot on the house. It's all done through other people doing things for you, or doing it all on the internet. So you're going to know how to find motivated sellers. Remember the Jerry Springer people? They're all on the MLS, and they disappear. They fall through the cracks. So I teach you how to get those people. Have you ever seen a listing on even in good markets where it's been on the market for 100, 200, 300 days? They're out there. There's a reason why nobody regurgitates those. Out of all I've probably done, I think I'm over 5,000 principal deals in over 34 years. It really isn't a lot when you calculate it out, but I've done more off the books. So in all that time, I wish if we had time, I could make it a guessing thing, but I'll just go right out and tell you. In those years, people where I've been rejected on a deal, where those deals have fallen out of escrow with the other buyers, I've only had about 6 people, realtors, call me up and say, hey, it fell out of escrow. Would you like to present your offer now? They don't do it. The agents aren't trained how to sell properties. They're pretty much, most of the agents that you're going to run into, Sarah's excluded, aren't trained to do what we do, right? A lot of them just, the test to get your license has nothing to do with real estate. It's about law. It's about, one of the questions was so stupid. It was about a survey, and it's like, where is the survey marker all survey users use to center the whole universe to where they start their, it's some rock in Tallahassee for Florida, and I don't know where it is anyway. That was one of the questions on the real estate test. So you got to understand that it's not because they're dumb, it's because they're ignorant. They haven't been trained, they haven't been taught, and they don't know. All those deals where those people could have called me, I could have put them together. And I find out about them because I contact the seller's agent and I says, hey, it's been 15 days. Did it go to closing yet? And they're like, oh, we can't tell you anything. We can't disclose that information. Do you guys follow me? You guys understand? Give me a big nod. I can see all of you. Give me a big nod. Good, good, good. So I teach you how to filter out the junk and move to the real opportunities without wasting a lot of time or money. Once you know how to find the deals like this, the game changes forever. I don't go driving for dollars. Gas is too expensive, right? I'm in Florida now. It's cheap gas. I was in California. I was paying $6, $7 a gallon for gas. Crazy town. All right. You can't go driving around. Mailing letters to people that are in foreclosure or in, financial situations. Excuse me. I'm surprised I'm doing so well. I was coughing and coughing like crazy before this. So thank you for being patient with me. I had a person come to me and they brought a stack of these orange letters, yellow letters, the thing, the letters saying, I can help you, I can solve your problems, right? And they brought me this stack and I'm like, oh my God, how long did it take to get that stack? And he says, oh, this is 1 week. Right? So everybody and their brother's doing this. So I inquired as to how much it was going to cost to be competitive in that. And the guy that was doing it in Inland Empire, California, was spending $40,000 a month in his mailings across Southern California. $40,000 a month. How many of you out there want to spend $40,000 on a hope and a prayer? Not me. Not me at all. All right. In addition to finding deals in any market, I'm going to walk you exactly how to structure the deal so you never feel lost. And I'm going to show you how to analyze the numbers and what paperwork to use and how to protect yourself legally and how to build profit into every deal before you ever bring in a buyer. I mean, if you don't know what the profit is in the beginning, you will after you take my training. Most people lose deals because they don't know what to do once they get one, right? Does that make sense? I eliminate that problem completely because I'm going to show you how to take it down and get it under control. By the time you're done with this training, you're going to know how to take a deal from maybe to closed and paid. I promise that. And on top of the learning how to find deals and how to structure them, finish to start or start to finish, sorry. You also get what's most important in my trainings, and that's real world step-by-step instructions on how to design the deal into what you want, which is what? Money in your pocket, right? You want money in your pocket. So it's not theory. This is the exact playbook that I use to close deals. And it's the one that I've taught to students who went from watching other people win to cashing in their own checks. Whether you're brand new or already in the game, this training is going to give you the exact steps that you need to take action, avoid confusion, and start profiting from real estate deals faster than you ever thought possible. This is the blueprint that I wish I had when I started. I would be a billionaire. I really believe that I would have peaked into the billion if I had the knowledge today that I have today when I was first starting in this. When I first started in this, I lived in Pinellas County. If you guys are familiar with Florida, I lived in St. Petersburg. Tampa was across the big bridge. You had to go across Tampa Bay. I was afraid to go across Tampa Bay to buy houses in Tampa because that was too far away. Now I buy houses in Hawaii from Florida, right? I mean, you can't get much farther than that. You're not guessing, you're following proven steps, just like a real business model, right? It's a business model. This isn't surface level stuff. You're getting what actually works in the real world. And I teach you how to structure deals the smart way, how to write the contract the right way. I call it the honey badger method. The honey badger doesn't give a shit. I can't say that word. I whispered it if you heard it. We take what we want, one deal at a time, right? So I teach you how to take title using a trust. Trust is the most amazing thing. I do a one-day training when you buy my program where I spend a couple of hours just on how to build and write and fill out the trust so that you can use it. It's probably, I can say it's the most important document that I use in real estate investing because it, number one, it hides me. Go ahead, search online and see how many properties I own. I don't own anything online in public, nothing, zero, right? And so if I get in an accident at the Costco and I break your leg and you're a world famous soccer player and your attorney sends the private investigator to find out how much I'm worth, sorry, you don't have a case, right? He has no assets, right? What better way to deflect a lawsuit than to look broke, right? I teach you how to structure the trust so that you're protected on that. And I can use that in California to sell my properties to people that do not have residency here. You guys get that? Do I have to explain that? If you're not a legal resident, you can still buy a house from Cliff because I'm going to sell you my beneficial interest. I'm not going to sell you the house. I'm going to sell you the beneficial interest on a contract for beneficial interest over 30 years, just like a mortgage company. We're going to amortize it. You're going to put a down payment. And when you miss that payment, I'm going to go to court, not tenancy court, not family court, not foreclosure tenant landlord dispute. I'm going to the business court where that judge is usually a conservative and he's going to say, what's the problem? I'm going to say they defaulted on their contract and they're going to say, okay, did you default on the contract? And they're going to say, yes, Your Honor. And then they're going to say, judgment for the plaintiff, right? And I'm going to say, oh, by the way, Your Honor, could I have a order for you to, from you to, because it's already done in the paperwork, but I'm just doing it for drama. Can I get an order from you for the return of my collateral on this contract deal? And he'll say, oh, yes, not a problem, which is done. He tells the clerk gives it to the sheriff. 3 days later, the sheriff is at the door throwing them out on the street. Boom. I keep the deposit. I keep any of the payments and I sell it to somebody else. Now, that sounds mean and cruel, but in California, if you do a lease option, guess what happens? Any money that if they default, you have to give them their option money back. It's adjudicated, and smart lawyers will be able to find the case law. So if they give you $75,000 down on their option for their lease option, and then they default, not only is it going to take you about 2 years to get them out, but you're going to have to give them that $75,000 back, which means you're going to have to sell your jet skis. Right? I'm trying to be funny. All right. So I love trusts. Trusts are, trust me. No, I'm just kidding. But they are the most amazing thing. And when you use these trusts, they're going to give you chills up and down your back when you learn how to use them. It's the exact same methods I used over the last 34 years and that I teach my private clients as well. Excuse me. It's funny, I forgot to get something to drink and everybody's gone for the day.
No.
So these are now available to you at a fraction of the cost. No fluff, yeah, thank you. No fluff, no gaps, just real results, and just how to make profits. If you're serious about doing your first deal or doing more deals, this is the moment where everything can change, and all you have to do is say yes, right? So in the tradition of guest speakers, I love, it's called the stack. If you've never seen it before, it's where I'm going to give you a whole bunch of bonuses to convince you that this is, oh my God, the best thing since cotton candy was invented. I've got to have this, but wait, there's more. Remember that guy? What was his name?
Are you talking about the tape guy?
Yeah, he sold everything, but wait,
there's more.
Yeah, Billy Isle,
Yeah, there you go.
Billy something. I forget what his name was, but poor guy died from a heart attack because he was so fat, right? But this is my wholesaling for properties quick cash system, and it's ready to stop the guessing and start the doing. And this is my first bonus. You're going to get my deal making spreadsheet now. It might look like somebody else's spreadsheet, but I literally have the spreadsheet date as to when I created it. I actually created it and mailed it to myself. I self-copyrighted it, but there's a very famous person that has my spreadsheet, and he flipped it around and made it look fancier, but it's my spreadsheet because, the cool thing about Microsoft is you can go in there and you can see who the author was. And it's me, but I don't care. I want people to make money. If it's working for them, it's working for them. But I had in my head the system that I did. When I would look at a house, I would do the math in my head. I have a 144 IQ. That's why I sound wacky sometimes, because smart people are really wacky. And I have ADHD and OCD. So everything has to be in perfect order, but not very long. Some of you will get that. But I had it in my head how I did these formulas. So it was really hard for me to explain it to people, to have it in their head. So I had a friend of mine create this spreadsheet. And it's really easy. I'll just go into it real quick and easy. All you're going to do is this box right here. Oh, you can't see my mouse on it. There's one box, you fill in the value. I teach you how to find the value online. You plug the value in, you hit enter, and everything populates. All the formulas are already done. It's real fast and easy. The only thing is it'll do, I'm probably going ahead of the slides here. It's quick, fast, and easy, like most of my clients. No, I seen that on a store one time, on their billboard out front. Our food is quick, fast, and easy, just like our clients. So with the spreadsheet, it auto-populates everything, making it very easy to use. I teach you how to find out the values, then you plug them in there. If you're going to do rental information, there's more steps involved that you have to add in there, because that's not a simple process. You have to know what the value of the rents are and a lot of other things. But it really makes it simple, because you just plug in the numbers and it tells you what your ROI is going to be. It figures buy, fix, flip, rent, and wholesale deals. So if you're going to wholesale a deal, it tells you how much your profit's going to be instantly. If you're going to flip it to an investor, After you do the rehab, not an investor, but an end user, it's going to tell you your profits. If you're going to wholesale it to an end user, there's another price point that you can hit. It tells you that number instantly. And then if you're going to hold it as a rental property, it's going to tell you that number, what your money is, all the money, the costs, the expenses, the assumptions of your closing costs, all of that stuff is all factored in, and what your profit's going to be, because you need to know what the profit's going to be up front before you do the deal, right? I know it's like, it's right there. I can't tape it, but that wouldn't work either. So, sorry guys, it's my first one in this conference room. So if I would have known that, I would have rewired it myself. But if you buy a property without running it through this spreadsheet, you might as well light a bonfire and just start throwing your money into it. Right? When you buy real estate and you don't know what you're doing, it's like buying a boat. You know what boat is? It's a hole in the water that you pour money into, right? So this spreadsheet is going to show you how to make smart, informed investment decisions in seconds. That is one of the big problems that people come to me at the end of my events and whatnot, and they say, Cliff, I don't know where to start with the money. I don't know how much to offer. I don't know how much I'm going to make. The realtor said, anybody ever do a deal and the realtor said, of course, Sarah wouldn't do this, but the realtor said we should make $20,000 profit. And then when we don't make $20,000 profit, the word we changes grammar. Because the realtor was like, we're going to make 20 grand. No. And then you make 10 grand and you go back and you say, hey, I only made 10 grand. Well, right? I don't need to explain that. You guys get it, right? Oh, by the way, the real estate agent made their commission, didn't they? And the mortgage person and the hard money lender and everybody else. Yeah. You have to know what you're doing when you go in. I know I'm making fun of that, but it's ultimately important that you know what all the calculations are. It breaks it down to everything. It shows you profits on a flip, a rental, a wholesale deal. And yes, it literally gives you the numbers with just a push of a button. This is one tool that can save you thousands or make you tens of thousands just by helping you avoid mistakes and lock in real profits before you even say yes to a deal. Does that sound like something that's smart to use? You might have a simple calculator or a simple way of doing things. This is just making it more simple and more easy. You look up the value, you plug it in, and my algorithms take over. So there you go. So, but wait, there's more. So bonus number 2, this is the thing that most people, like I said, I've done this for a lot of time, and everybody says to me, Cliff, I like your program. I want to get it. I don't want to just buy the program because I might not have the strength or the inner force to sit down and just get it done. So can you help me get started? So that's what I did. I did an insiders only fast track real estate mastermind event. That's fancy words for I'm going to help you get started, right? So I'm going to give you a 1-day event where I'm going to go through the most important steps to start from right now to putting a deal together, right? What do you need to do right now to get a deal put together? That's the important thing to learn, right? Wouldn't you agree? So this is your chance to work with me live. We're going to do a Zoom meeting just like this, and it's going to be an all-day thing, and it's going to be this Saturday. If you can't make this Saturday, I am going to record it, so you'll be able to get it that way. And then what I always tell all my students is, if I'm teaching a class in another location and you want to just sit in on it, I let other people do that as well. So once you're a buyer with me, you can always sit in on these 1-day events that I do, because they're all virtual now for the most part. But sometimes, like I might be in New York and I might be doing it live. You might want to come down to New York. I know, probably just to watch a baseball game. I'm just kidding. And sit in on it live. It's you're welcome to do that. I just want you to do deals. All right. Now there is a selfish motive in this as well. I need deals too. And if you do put deals together, please present them to me, because I might be interested in it as well. So After teaching real estate for 20 years, I've heard this over and over. Just need someone to walk me through the startup process live and in real time. And that's what I do on this event. So I created this so you could attend online. You can do it live if I'm doing it live. But if it's online, there's no travel. You can sit in your living room couch. You could sit in your hot tub. You could sit on your back porch. You could sit on your dining room table, wherever you want to sit. Just please, if you have the camera on, remember to wear some clothes. I've had to black out some people because they were wearing a bathrobe that was just unbelievably exposing, and everybody complained, so I had to black out the camera. And then the other day I saw something very similar. This woman went to court and the judge was like, "Are you serious? Go stand back there until you can figure out what's wrong." And then he gave her like 5 years jail time or something. It was terrible. Just real world knowledge that gets you moving. I want you to put things together. It's not a cookie cutter deal. There's steps that, I do every time, but I'm going to show you how to do things the right way. It's for your market. I know Boston. I've bought properties in Boston. I bought properties in New Jersey. I bought properties in Michigan, Ohio, New York, West Virginia, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, Chattanooga's in Tennessee, Florida, Atlanta, Texas, California, Arizona, Hawaii, Montana. I didn't even see that house. I don't even think I saw pictures of it, just the contract. So, I know how to do things in different markets, right? And I know how to adapt and adjust and figure out the markets. So I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. I tailor the tactics so that you can stop feeling overwhelmed and start taking action. The biggest thing, people come to me and they're like, "I can't get any deals." My first question is going to be, how many offers did you put in? 3? Well, there's your problem. So start putting offers in. Well, I didn't know how to do it, and the realtor quit on me. And I'm like, well, how many real estate agents are there in your area? I think there's like 14,000. Get cracking, right? So it might not be, I don't know, how many agents are in the Boston area? Maybe like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 active?
Guess again.
How many?
Guess again.
20,000?
In all Massachusetts,
Oh, how many?
45,000 agents.
Wow. Well, the
Believe it or
average,
not.
2 years ago, the average income for a NAR agent was $28,000.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah,
Most
it's
agents
crazy.
don't sell that many homes. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, but they do make great baristas.
Did you make one? Good baristas.
So I want you to have the tactics so that you can go out there with confidence. Confidence is a deal maker. When you have confidence and you know what you're doing and you don't have that trepidation or that fear, you can go out there and you can start putting deals together. Because I teach you what to say when they say this, right? This is the part that most courses miss. And that's why most people fail, is because they don't do what I do in this one-day event. I show you the exact steps to take first, how to set up your systems, where to find leads, how to talk to sellers, and how to be confident when you make these offers and get them accepted, right? It's like going from zero to deal ready in one day and being focused about it. So one more bonus, it's last but not least. I'm also giving you full access to my 9-lesson masterclass video training, where I walk you through everything that I've learned over the last 3 decades of doing real estate deals. And it's the stuff that works. I don't teach stuff that doesn't work. If you hear me and my training and you say, "Geez, why doesn't he do this thing?" It's because I've tried it. I've tried everything. I don't think there's, in 35 years or 34 years, I've pretty much tried every method, and I'm going to stick with the things that make me money or that work, because it's stupid to do things that don't work, right? I'm harsh on that because, I don't want to mislead you, but I'm going to teach you things that work. You're going to get 13 hours of high level content that covers most of my important money making strategies that I've ever used, organized step by step so that you can absorb it fast and take action immediately. There's a lot of highbrow stuff out there. I've written some for some gurus, and then they took it and they put their Ivy League education into the writings. So they took my ninth grade education, which is, really easy to understand, and they added the Ivy League to it. And people don't get it. People don't understand it. So I don't know. Some of you might be able to put together who that was, but oh, this is really stupid. This thing is driving me nuts. There we go. I got to move around more. See, normally when I'm talking, I'm walking over all the place. So I want you to be able to absorb it and understand it. Like if I teach with a lot of methodology that helps you understand. Because when you understand things, you can do them, right? Would you agree with that? You'd have to agree with that because that's the truth. Here's what you get with this bonus: a complete video training system that you can stream 24/7. It's online. It's easy to access. It's 30 plus years of my experience distilled into what actually works. More than 13 hours of content broken into manageable lessons, and it's lifetime access, so you can always refer back to it when you need it. It's real world education, not classroom theory. I watch a lot of people get up on stage and say, oh, you can do this and you can do that. And then I know for a fact they've never done that type of a deal, but they're just teaching theory. And sometimes I want to call them out, but I will tell you in person, but I won't tell you in a group like this. It's included free as part of today's offer. And this bonus alone is worth thousands of dollars. But today it's included to make sure that you have every tool that you need for success. And if you add that up, I showed you the wholesaling for properties. I sell online for $14.97. The deal making spreadsheet is a $9.97 value. I sell it for that. The 9-lesson masterclass is a $9.97 value. I sell it for that. And my exclusive insiders one-day fast track mastermind is a $994 value. It's when I do the live events, it's for 2 attendees. If you have a lot of people in your house and they're all sitting around, I can't stop that from happening, right? You get that? So if I charge the full price, it would be worth a total value of $4,485. And you have to admit that at $4,485, if it can do all the things that I showed you today, it would be worth more than that, right? Because if you put one deal together with this knowledge and you made $24,000 on your first deal and you did it within 30, 60, or 90 days just by following these steps, you have to admit that it's worth more than $4,485. What would it be worth if you made 24 grand? It would be worth more than 24 grand because you can do it again and again and again. Please don't stop when you do one deal. I know a lot of people that go out there, they do one deal and then they stop. I can't explain it. Maybe it was just to prove a point, but I also have people like Leo who goes out there and just does deal after deal after deal after deal. So listen, the people I showed you today, they weren't experts. They didn't have connections. And they weren't born into money, right? They were just regular people like you who were tired of trying to figure out how to do it on their own. They had little to no experience, but they had one thing that changed everything. They took action. Most of them didn't have thousands of dollars in the bank. Some of you might not, some of you might, but some were living paycheck to paycheck. Do you know that the average person right now is like $500 or one paycheck away from total devastation? And they have less than $500 in the bank account? It's crazy. But these people, they use the strategies that I taught them to lock up deals using little to no money of their own and flip those deals into real profits. And that's the power of knowing what to do and having a real system. Were they scared? Would you be scared on your first deal? Of course you would. I was scared. Sometimes when I put deals together and they're big deals, I'm nervous, and it's not because of lack of experience or lack of knowledge, it's sometimes you're just like, ooh, what happens if this happens? And then the training and then the expertise comes in because the confidence comes back. And basically, you know, I just said what I said on the slide on the next slide. Because this stuff is what is real. It's not premeditated. This is what I do. This is what I teach. And if you take that leap of faith, it can lead to your first deal just like it did for them. But it's going to lead to a check. It's going to lead to confidence. I'm telling you, once you put your first deal together and that money goes into your bank account, it's a different world that you're going to live in. And it's amazing. Your whole persona changes. And then you have to go buy a monocle because now you're a Monopoly player, right? So here's the truth. They all made one decision. They invested in my training. They said yes to learning that they wanted to know what works. They wanted to know what led to results, right? You guys want results. And now you're standing at the same crossroads, except you have even more tools available than they did. Those people didn't have all the tools that I have now. You're getting all of my tools. But the one thing that these people did show today, that they showed you today that they did do was is they wanted to make money and they bought my real estate investing strategies, right? I love this. Let's be real. I hate cheesy sales pitches as much as you do. So I'm not going to pull any gimmicks or fake countdown timers. This isn't about hype. This is about you and whether you are ready for a change in your life with real estate. The offer is real. The results are real. And if you're serious, this is your moment, right? This is, I didn't want to just give you a great deal. I wanted to make it impossible for you to say no, right? $4,485 value. I sell it for $997 when I go to RIA meetings all over the United States. This is what I do. Duncan is my best friend. Kelly, you are my best friend too in this business. There is nobody I love more than the two of you guys. Duncan said, there's no way you're going to sell your stuff at my event for $997. So I says, okay, I've got a way that you can't say no. So today it's $297. I'm telling you, I do this for kind of reasons that might seem to others as selfish. Number one, if you start putting deals together, my deal base expands. I need houses. I need houses. I need houses. I have buyers in California that have tons of money. They have it in retirement accounts, can write checks for $300,000-$400,000 today. I need properties. I need to expand outside of my market of going to just Ohio. So that's what I'm offering today is you buy my program today for $297. It's not that it's a shortcut, right? It's your signal to stop waiting and start doing. I don't know anybody that just wants to dream about being a real estate agent. I know people that want to be real estate agents. And if you're not doing it, you can. Excuse me. I apologize. I probably won't be able to talk tomorrow. I'll probably be hoarse and it's gone. But when you look back today, this is going to be the moment that you realize that saying yes was the smartest decision that you ever made. And if all you have to do, I'm going to put the link in the chat box, or you can actually put your phone up to there and click the link, or use the what do you call it, QR code. It'll take you right to the sales page. You fill out the information. It's real quick, real fast, real easy. It's all automated. So as soon as you make the payment, you hit the button, it will start sending you emails. It's going to send you your username and password so that you can get in and see all the videos. I'm going to be doing the live Zoom meeting on Saturday. It's all day. I will give you some insight. It's a half a day class that I double. So if you miss the morning, don't miss the afternoon. If you have something in the afternoon, but you can make it in the morning, I'm going to cover everything that you're going to need in one of those sections. But if you're more than happy to stay for the whole day, the more you watch and the more you listen, the more you're going to absorb. So jump on this right away. It's $297. Scan the code there. It takes you right to the spot. I'm going to, let's see, where's my mouse? I'm going to put it in the chat box here. Let's see. Where is the chat? There we go. There we go. Paste. There you go. So all you got to do is click the link in the chat box. It's going to take you right to the sales page. The sooner you start this, the sooner you can start creating more deals. You've seen my system. You've seen my tools. You've seen my light keep going out. You've seen how this could change your lives. And it has changed people just like you. It changed their lives. Now it's your turn to move. This is the moment that changes everything. Lock in your spot, guys, and let's meet on the other side. Thanks again for allowing me to be here tonight. I really appreciate your time and your energy. I really enjoyed tonight. It was really fun. I do like being live and in person because I'm a social person. So I'm giving you guys, virtual hugs right now. If you've got questions, usually this is when everybody comes running up to me and starts asking me questions. Just drop them in the chat. I'll stay here for a little bit afterwards. Or you can send Kelly and Sarah messages. We're here to help take you to the next step. I want you to have clarity and confidence. The thing that changed my life was having the knowledge, so that it gave me the clarity. And that knowledge helped me go head to head with some pretty tough people. I shut down the lead counsel for Chicago title, and I put him in his place because he told me I couldn't do something with an Illinois trust that I knew I could do, and I had the case law and everything behind me. So I taught him a lesson, and he's like, wow. He says, what law school did you go to? And I said, State Penn. No, Penn State. Well, School of Hard Knocks, right? It's logic. And I'm a very logical person. And if you know what you're talking about, you can have that confidence to go in there and put offers in. And when they give you a curveball, because of the confidence that you have and the clarity, you could say, nope, Cliff taught me this. And then you can say what it is that I would teach you how to say it. So I just want to add a little something here. If this spoke to you tonight, don't let this moment pass. Take the shot, get the training. Let's do some deals together, and I will see you on the inside. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Where'd he go? Is he still here? Duncan?
Duncan's still there. Yeah.
Thank you, Duncan. I will look forward to seeing everybody that's signing up right now. I'm really excited. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very,
Excellent
very
stuff.
valuable. Very,
Thank you.
very valuable. You
Yeah.
I know I went
delivered
really
and delivered
fast.
and
Hey, Cliff,
delivered.
we're getting reports the QR code's not working. So
Oh,
we'll
the
have-
link will work.
yeah, you'll have to use the link, people. The QR code's not working.
Oh, that's
Otherwise,
weird.
guys, remember to go into the chat and copy and paste that into your own notepad for anything that was there. And then just email Boston Ria at gmail.com, and we can get your questions off to Cliff and he can get back to you directly on that. We're out of time tonight. It's 9 o'clock. I want to thank you for all your time that you spent, and thank you, Cliff. And we'll see you next month or at one of our subgroups, guys. Have a great evening.
What's happening when they click the link? Because I just pulled it up and it's working.
It's your QR code not working.
Somebody said the link didn't work either. Open in browser.
Just email us at Ria
Yeah.
at gmail.com, and we'll pass it off to Cliff and he can give you a call.
I can put it in manually.
Yeah.
If you have, I've had the problem with Spectrum. not loading. So if you have Spectrum, you can try using a different browser than Firefox, and that might be the problem. It's working on mine right now, so I don't know why it wouldn't be working for yours.
Yeah, it's working on
All right.
mine also.
It's working for me as well. I'm using Edge.
So if you want, I can stay on. I don't know if you guys are going to shut down.
Yeah, no, we're going to shut down, Cliff. It's past 9, and we've
Okay.
had people on now for 2.5 hours. So,
I
yeah,
appreciate it.
just email bossmaria@gmail.com. We'll pass your
We
questions
can
on
type
to
it
Cliff.
in.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
typed in, and I can pass it on to Cliff, and he can answer you personally from there.
Yes. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Thank you once
Hey, Cliff,
again. And
we hope you feel better soon.
Oh, yes, me too. I really do. I really do. I probably will just crash tonight.
Yes, sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone,
guys.
for coming on.
good
Thank
evening.
you.
Great job, Cliff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miss Sarah.
Thank you, Miss Kelly.